Hi class, my name is Kevin Connelly,
I'm Lety Campero.
and we're going to talk about the 5 dimensions of multicultural pedagogy today. So the 5 dimensions of multicultural pedagogy are content integration, knowledge construction, equity pedagogy, prejudice reduction, and empowering school culture. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So first of all, the first dimension is content integration. And content integration demands that teachers transform the curriculum to incorporate different aspects of various cultures. This information is then integrated in a smooth and natural way into the academic lessons. So it also incorporates many elements of a variety of cultures into the lesson. So stories, art, literature, or any other aspect of culture from various racial backgrounds can be integrated into the curriculum. Content integration should be included on a constant basis so as to prevent students from believing that their culture is trivial in comparison to the conventional curriculum. It also makes topics and issues the focal point. So content integration makes topics and issues the focal point by stressing the importance of including elements of different cultures into the curriculum. So one of the videos that involved content integration was video 7, Understanding Autism, a guide for secondary school teachers, part 3. So throughout the classrooms in this video, there are some representations of different cultures. In one classroom, we can see a Mexican flag. In another, we see a student studying the rituals, traditions, and beliefs of Hinduism. When students learn about their own culture, they gain a deeper understanding of their heritage. Consequently, students can become proud of their heritage and culture. Additionally, they can be proud of what their ethnicity and culture has to offer to the class and the perspectives it brings. Due to this pride, students will be empowered as a result of the school's use of content integration. Thus, the dimensions of content integration and an empowering school culture can work hand in hand. Content integration increases engagement as a result of students having a personal connection with the material being covered. When students engage more in class, they are more involved and take more responsibility in the learning experience. Consequently, their academic performance increases. And then another video 3, there is actually a missed opportunity of content integration. So in this video, Emily Lutke and her class were in art class making clay pots. Lutke could have used content integration by incorporating information on clay pots made throughout the world and history. Many different cultures have made beautiful pots, from the Egyptians to the Native Americans. All these pots are artistically beautiful and amazing to see. Lutke could have also made her students try to make clay pots that were inspired by the pots of Egyptians or Native Americans. Through this, they can gain somewhat of a firsthand experience of what those ancient pottery makers went through. So when students see the art of their culture, they notice the beauty and all the hard work that went into it. They can be proud of their racial background and all the great feats they can achieve. Also, if Lutke would have integrated this information, it would have contained a natural flow into the mainstream art lesson. If the information was presented in an unnatural way, students would have noticed and would have thought the school's efforts for content integration were insincere. Essentially, the student's viewpoint would be that the school incorporated the information just to say that they did it, and they weren't truly trying to empower different cultures.
I will be talking about knowledge construction. The knowledge construction process describes teaching activities that help students to understand, investigate, and determine how the implicit cultural assumptions, frames of references, perspectives, and biases of researchers and textbook writers influence the ways in which knowledge is constructed. The key in knowledge construction is the word construction. It is not knowledge acquisition or knowledge retention, it's construction, which means that we need to be constructing knowledge is required. The point is not to memorize content or make up a story. The idea of knowledge construction is where students need to create knowledge set for themselves based on facts and understanding. Knowledge construction requires interpreting, analyzing, synthesizing, and applying knowledge to new contexts. An example of knowledge construction is video 2. In video 2, we can see knowledge construction occurring as students discuss their personal perspectives. The students watched the video and read the text, then they came up with ideas and discussed within their group. The students demonstrate conceptual understanding and go ahead and relate this new information to previous learned information. We see this when the girl in the video compares her education with her parents and now sees the value and importance in it, as well as the opportunity that she has. Different people can construct different meanings because everyone has a different experience or a different opinion.
All right, so the next dimension we're going to talk about is equity pedagogy. So equity pedagogy occurs when a teacher modifies their teaching to include a variety of techniques that assist culturally diverse students in achieving academic goals. The end goal in using equity pedagogy is that all students of any racial background or gender can succeed in school. All right, so an example of equity pedagogy is seen in video 9, co-teaching alternative teaching. So Miss Boyden and the other teacher utilize a whiteboard and an overhead in order to model how to solve algebraic equations and graphing. The modeling presented in this video is seen through a visual medium as students can see how a problem is solved in a step-by-step manner. Many cultures around the world are accustomed to a visual or an observational learning style. This is because these learning styles are deep-seated into the very fabric of their culture. Consequently, many students will acquire these learning styles as it is a part of their culture and tradition. Thus, schools must adapt to these learning styles in order to give these students accessibility to the curriculum. In this example, visually oriented cultures are given more access to the lesson as a result of Miss Boyden's adaptive teaching. Since students of diverse cultures are given more access to the curriculum, they are able to engage more and thus learn more. Seeing how a problem is solved in a step-by-step manner helps students to identify where they specifically went wrong in a problem. Targeting these specific areas in a lesson allows students to focus and practice on what they are struggling, thus increasing performance. Co-teaching was also used in this video as well. Since there are two teachers, students of diverse cultures can receive extra time in getting help. They can also receive different resources that would not be available if there was only one teacher, such as receiving a different perspective or explanation on a problem that they are struggling with. All right, next one. So another example of equity pedagogy is seen through video 5, differentiation within the inclusion. So in this video, Claire Moore and Angela Olton utilize a scaffolded note-taking paper. This scaffolded note-taking paper helps students of diverse backgrounds, especially English language learners. The scaffolded note-taking paper forces students to do fill-in-the-blanks of key vocab words and important concepts or information. This helps to emphasize to students what information is important, and it allows them to filter out the important information from the lesson. Consequently, this saves time, as students are no longer wondering what information they should study. This also allows for more accessibility to the lesson for these types of students. Since these types of students are given better access to the lesson, they are able to engage more, which then allows them to perform better academically. And I will segue this to Lety.
Prejudice reduction is the dimension of multicultural education where it seeks to help students develop positive and democratic racial attitudes. It also helps students understand how ethnic identity is influenced by context, schooling, the attitudes and beliefs of dominant social groups. So prejudice is said to be reduced by interracial contact if the contact situations have characteristics such as cooperative groups rather than competitive, or individuals experiencing equal status despite of their background or race. In video 4, we see how the class is diverse and the students all have different backgrounds, yet they are all equal and all their needs are met. And then in video 10, we can see another example of prejudice reduction. We see how the students are working in the station or in a variety of group stations, and we see how they help each other rather than compete with one another as they solve their algebra problems.
All right, so the next dimension is an empowering school culture. So an empowering school culture seeks to transform the school system by providing a way in which ways in which students of different ethnic backgrounds can feel empowered. This may be through changing different school policies that may be harmful to certain ethnic groups, changing the faculty to be more diverse, or simply valuing and cherishing all cultures. All staff must be seeking to empower all students of different cultures and must try to right the wrongs of injustice within the school system. The primary goal of an empowering school culture is to work towards equity for all students. All right, so an example of an empowering school culture is seen through video 3, A Day in the Life of a Special Education Teacher. In this video, Lety has students of different races working together towards a common goal of winning in PE. When students work together, it instills a greater sense of community in the classroom. With a strong sense of community, students of diverse cultures are empowered due to the fact that all individuals are valued and praised, along with the stories and cultures they bring with them. Students will be motivated to learn as they know that they have a support system through their school and their peers. And as seen in this example, empowering school culture can go hand in hand with prejudice reduction as well, as a lot of the group in this video were heterogeneous and very diverse in races. So prejudice reduction was seen as the groups in PE were diverse. And that's it for our presentation. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to our presentation.